Welcome to the American Academy of Grief Counseling's Videogram on children and pet loss. And this is kind of a dualistic grief video because it deals not only with the nature of pet loss grief, but it also deals with child and adolescent grief itself, especially younger child in the pre-operational ages between 2 and 7 years of age, and in how they experience loss, and the loss in particular of a pet. Now, pet loss is a true loss, first of all, that should never be dismissed as something insignificant. And when individuals or grief bullies push others around and say it's only a pet, well, then that is something that needs to be rectified. It needs to be corrected in regards to how individuals view the lack of importance of actually losing a lifelong family friend, which is a pet. So for children, pet loss can be their very first experience of losing something or someone that is special. It should not be hidden, but seen also as an opportunity to help teach the child about life and death itself. Whether we're dealing with a simple goldfish or more devastating loss, such as the loss of the family dog, the event needs to be experienced and processed in a healthy fashion itself. So in understanding death, especially with younger children in the pre-operational age, many children will have different perceptions. Permanence of death as a concept doesn't occur until really between 5 and 7 years of age. And that's when children begin to learn that death is irreversible. That once something dies, it cannot return. It cannot come back. Hence, children need to be told the truth about death, regardless of age. It's not something to be hidden. Many individuals or parents like to sugarcoat it and maybe say, Buddy is just sleeping, or Cleo went away, or the event where, oh, the goldfish died, let's get a new one and put it in and hope she doesn't notice. These are all things that we want to avoid because they are preventing the child from experiencing the loss, understanding the loss. So instead of hiding, instead of sugarcoating, instead, individuals need to use, parents especially, real and concrete language, but in a sympathetic way, depending on the age itself. Because many children will then misunderstand the symbolic thought. So children then need to be included in the grieving process when a pet passes away. The child needs to understand what is happening. And when the child is not told what is happening, this prevents an unhealthy grieving and also can lead to what is referred to as magical thinking, where children convey the thought that an uncorrelated thought or action that they did corresponds with the concrete death of the particular person or pet. So magical thinking will place themselves potentially at fault. So to dismiss the possibility of magical thinking taking place, it's also important to include the child in the process so that the child understands completely that it's not their fault that the pet died and that they're actually going to partake in the grieving process with the family itself. So a chance to say goodbye is something that can be potentially utilized, especially if it's not a sudden death. It allows the child to have a chance to say goodbye. And this may involve a special day for the pet and child, or just alone time with the pet. So if a child is old enough, then a family decision can be further made whether the child should be present for the euthanasia. But usually for most younger children, a happy farewell and a goodbye is sufficient. After the pet has been euthanized, memorializing the loss is a critical part in the grieving process itself. Usually cremation is the used method now. The urn can be presented to the child and placed in a special place within the family residence. If it's just a fish or a smaller animal and there is no burial or cremation, well, then you can involve the child in a special ceremony that is created within the family, whether it be a goldfish or a hamster, maybe a special burial spot in the backyard. Keepsakes are also important for children. Collars, the fur, other toys of the pet can be kept in a special place, or an album or other artistic expressions of artwork, drawings, or even a shadow box where various possessions of the pet are kept and displayed on the wall itself. And all these things are excellent ways to help the child conclude the loss in a healthy fashion and understand that while the pet is no longer on earth, the spirit and the thought and the love and the bond still survives. And these are all critical behavioral ways that people need to develop as a child grows into an adult in dealing with death and loss in a healthy way itself. So we offer at AIHCP, in addition to our grief counseling certification, a pet loss grief support certification. The link is below. Our number is 330-652-7776, and our email is info@aihcp.org. So if anyone is going through a loss at this moment, I offer my condolences. If you have children, please consider making them a part of the process so that they grieve healthy and develop mentally and emotionally properly in regards to loss itself. Thank you for listening and have a good day.